Wealthy Wall Street mega donor is showing interest in Senator Tim Scott. He's expected to make a fundraising swing through the Hamptons in August. It's the subject of a new article on CNBC.com. Brian Schwartz, who wrote that piece, is with us now at the table. What's going on?
Well, here we go. CNBC following the money race in 2024. And really what we're looking at here is that coming into this race, right, coming into this year, there were groups of very wealthy people who were thinking Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was going to be this guy that could defeat Donald Trump in the primary and go on and defeat, will likely be President Joe Biden in the general. And some are just losing faith in that being the calculus right now. And so what they're looking at is alternatives, right? And one of those people is Senator Tim Scott. The key reason, among others, that they're looking at alternatives is, one, DeSantis has not really moved up anywhere in the polls versus Trump. Neither really has Tim Scott, by the way, to keep you really key context here.
Right.
But there's the other piece of this, too, which are policy differences, really key policy differences. And that's led to this event that's been created. One of the co-hosts is former Goldman Sachs executive Gary Cohn, who also was a Trump economic advisor. Another one, Stanley Druckenmiller. These are big names, really connected to Wall Street, who are coming in to help.
What's the missing piece on DeSantis right now?
Well, I just think that he came in with a lot of fanfare, and there is a belief that there is a lack of enthusiasm from some GOP, in fact, really a growing group of GOP primary voters. Look at the latest New York Times poll that came out. Again, it represents all the other polls that Trump's dominated there. So there's a lack of enthusiasm. But again, it also goes back to the policy front. Ron DeSantis, right around the time that he was supposed to, that he did come into the race and now running for president, signed that 6-week abortion ban bill. That's turned off a lot of wealthy donors. Not everybody. I mean, clearly, the guy raised $20 million in the last quarter, so he's doing pretty well, right? But there's this growing contingent of people, frankly, the bigger names that we would know. People like Steve Schwarzman, who actually gave to Tim Scott in the last quarter. It is not coming for DeSantis.
What about Glenn Youngkin, the Virginia governor? He has not announced that he's running. He has said he's not at the moment, but there are a lot of people who are kind of hoping
that's right.
Jumps in.
There's a lot of people hoping he jumps in. And it's, again, this alternative. He said, actually, I'm not going to run this year, 2023, but there's one more year to this election cycle, the key year, which is 2024. And so when you look at that, he had a meeting recently in Aspen, Colorado, with like 50 financiers. And within that, there was no real ruling out or, again, saying he didn't say one way or another if he was going to go. But that's indicative to where his mind is.
How much money do they need now in terms of when you sort of look out at the advertising plans and other strategies? What do you need now? What are the sort of the deadlines if we're to look at a calendar?
Well, so we've gotten through the second quarter, right? This is a week or so ago. Now we're getting through this next one, this third quarter here. But going forward, I mean, what type of budget are we looking for a candidate? I mean, so...
And how do you spend it? I mean, part of the thing that I understood was that folks thought DeSantis was misspending his money.
That's right. That's what I was getting to at this point is, look, Tim Scott going into this next quarter has $20 million on hand. Ron DeSantis has $7 million, okay? And why is that? Because Ron DeSantis burned through cash. One of the themes of that was his travel, his private travel. And there's no indication, to your point, that any of that private travel is going to be eliminated entirely. It may be cut back a little bit, sure. But how much is a private flight going from Pennsylvania to the Hamptons? Just one way. It's still going to cost the campaign a ton of money. And in the DeSantis camp's world, they think they still need to do some of this private travel from what I hear. They are convinced that the governor needs this for security purposes. So you're looking at a budget. I think you're going to have at least north of $20 million for each of these candidates to really continue to roll on here through the caucus and primary.
Even if these other candidates get any momentum, California, the Republican Party there just changed its rules so that you're going to win all the state's delegates based on who's winning for the state, not going county by county or district by district like they used to do.
Right.
And that's a big advantage to Trump and hurts anybody else who's trying to take him on. I know Michigan did a similar.
You're exactly right. These are some of these key states. The rules are set up right now for the front runner, in this case Trump, to kind of dominate once we get to some of these primaries and caucuses. And I think, these other candidates, look, they're saying, look, we want to have a debate with this guy. He's not even willing to get on the debate stage.
Right.
I mean, so if they can't debate him on the debate stage, they're going to have to find another way to take him on, whether it's through ads, whether it's through, interviews and they come on air and they say stuff about him. But is that really moving the needle in some of these states? I don't think so. I don't see it yet, but we'll have to find out in the next year.